Hi, Tyler Williams with Better Sleep SLC, and we appreciate you joining us here for this video today. We're excited to share it with you. And there are a couple things that we want to cover, but you're here because all of a sudden you feel like you're sleeping too much, or you're tired all the time, or excessive daytime sleepiness, call it EDS, if you're sleepy throughout the day. And there can be a lot of reasons why this may be caused, but a lot of times it comes down to just a few key simple things. But the first thing to kind of cover here is that for most adults, sleeping between 6 and 8 hours a day is pretty ideal. And there are lots of different studies on this, but we found from the medical teams we work with and sleep specialists we work with that that's about the sweet spot for most people. And that means uninterrupted, right? So if you're in bed for 6 or 8 hours, but you wake up 5 times during the night and you toss and turn for a couple hours, okay, that would not be 6 or 8 hours of good sleep. So that's not going to probably rejuvenate you and give you the energy you need as if you had slept, 6 or 8 hours straight through, or maybe you only woke up once, right? But a lot of people say, yeah, I sleep 7 or 8 hours, but of course I have to get up to the bathroom 8 times. And that really isn't the goal of ideal sleep, and we want to help you get through that, all right? The second reason is some people, if they sleep too long, they can actually be more tired. And, I kind of use the example of if I have a day where I sleep in and I don't have a lot to do and I kind of get lazy and I take a couple naps throughout the day, I just kind of feel tired, right? And so having some motivation can really help with that, but it's hard to be motivated when your sleep quality isn't good. And so you can have this kind of negative feedback loop that we can get stuck in to work through it. So the second thing I would say is establishing a regular sleep schedule. Again, for most adults, 6 to 8 hours is the ideal time to sleep per day. For kids, sometimes a bit longer, and maybe later. Some kids actually work better if they go to sleep a little later and wake up a little bit later, which is nice that some of the school districts have adopted this. I've noticed with my own kids is they have a little bit more flexibility in the morning sometimes to sleep in a little longer, which I think is such a great blessing and opportunity for these kids because their bodies are often designed to do that. So make sure that you're getting that regular sleep in, and then also try to keep a consistent schedule of going to bed about the same time and waking up at the same time. And I use my alarm every weekday. I just have it set where it automatically goes off at the same time every weekday, and for me I found that helps because some days I might have to get up 20 or 30 minutes earlier or maybe 20 or 30 minutes later, but for the most part I'm keeping that schedule down to feel better about myself. All right. Third thing is get it diagnosed, right? If you haven't, get a home sleep test done, meet with a sleep physician. We have a telehealth, access to a telehealth sleep service as well, so you can give us a call if you need that info. We'll be happy to provide that for you, but you can even have this home sleep test sent to your home, the device, and take it in the comfort of your own home so you can get some answers to your questions. And it's so much easier and so much better for most people when they have a diagnosis and know what it is, because now you can truly solve the problem. If you're just guessing why your sleep isn't good, but you haven't had a consultation and you haven't had this diagnosed, you're just kind of shooting blindly in the dark, and it's going to take you a lot longer to figure out what's going on, and you'll probably end up getting a home sleep test anyway. And so that would be the third thing I would suggest, is get a home sleep test. Even if you test negative and there's nothing wrong, but maybe you're on the borderline a little bit, get retested a year or two later, because our bodies change, our health changes, our sleep conditions change, and no test is perfect. And so you want to get those periodically if there's some perception that maybe you have an issue going on there, all right? And then the fourth one is make sure that you're breathing well. I mentioned earlier I had septum surgery. It's because I noticed with some of my workouts I wasn't getting enough oxygen, and oxygen is critical for our blood and the systems in our body to work well. So for me, during workouts and during awake hours, that helps me get more oxygen and better air and breathing through my nose, because nose breathing is almost always more healthy than mouth breathing. Our nose is a natural filter, and it releases certain systems in our body are activated when you breathe through your nose that aren't when you breathe through your mouth. It also helps keeping your mouth from getting too dry, which can cause tooth decay and gum disease and sensitivity. So focusing on nose breathing, there's some, a lot of different techniques and ways you can do this. And if you have some questions on that, you can certainly call us. And then at night, how you're breathing. Okay, if you have a small mouth, if you have a large tongue, if you have missing teeth, if you have a family history of sleep apnea or snoring, if you're keeping your loved ones awake because of the noise you make during the night, okay, then that means you're not getting good oxygen when you're asleep, and that's a different type of breathing. But critically important that you have good sleep and good oxygen when you sleep and good quality of sleep, so that your body can be well rested. Otherwise, when you wake up in the morning, you're going to feel tired or overstimulated. There's been some good research in the department of kids and ADHD being misdiagnosed sometimes for actually a sleep disorder, and because they aren't getting good sleep, they're kind of overstimulated. And I can attest to this. Even as an adult, if I don't get good sleep, I'm kind of cranky the next day, or I'm a little bit wound up. And so if you're doing that night after night, you don't have to live with that anymore. There are new improved ways to treat your sleep apnea. Our niche here are appliances you can wear in your mouth that will help you breathe better, sleep better, quiet your snoring, stop your snoring, and most importantly, if you have sleep apnea, treat that sleep apnea and protect your jaws while you're doing it so you can get a good night of sleep and feel better about yourself. So, thank you for taking a few minutes to watch this video. If you'd like one of those booklets, give us a call or swing by the office. Be happy to share one with you. No appointment needed for that. And we look forward to seeing you in the future and getting your comments and your feedback. And thanks for watching.